I was listening to a great interview on Chris Williamson's channel. It's my new favorite channel, Modern Wisdom it's called. And he was interviewing marketing executive Rory Sutherland. This guy is just filled with ideas. He was talking about how stimulating he finds the alt-right and how he regards himself as the most left-wing member of the alt-right. He had this idea that the right is correct for the long term, but left-wing policies are best in the short term. I don't quite remember all the different ways that that breaks down. But why is it that certain ideas can be tremendously stimulating for some people, and then those same ideas can lead to a downward spiral for others? So some people look into the alt-right and find it a benefit. It stimulates their thinking, it opens up discussion, it expands the Overton window, and it enhances the quality of their life. And then for other people, they discover the alt-right, and that begins a substantial downward spiral where they alienate themselves from their employer, from their educational institution, their community, their family, and their friends. And so I think the answer why certain ideas can be a benefit to some people and absolute poison for others is it's primarily about the individuals. So alt-right ideas generally primarily appeal to the socially marginalized. Some people who are socially marginalized are usually socially marginalized for good reason. They're losers. And so losers, when they attach on to an idea, they will use it to justify their losing habits. And winners, when they interact with the same ideas, right, they will use them to enhance their winning. So as Big Guy commented on my live stream at the very beginning yesterday, that I see events through my pre-existing hypotheses, and yeah, I have a bias that life in California can be pretty sweet and can be improved. I have a bias that we are not doomed. The opposite perspective of John Derbyshire, who I believe published a book called We Are Doomed. And then other people like Kip, right? Kip calls in, and it's usually a fusillade of critiques about how we're essentially doomed. I notice with critiques like Kip's, they're always critiques against a standard of excellence and perfection, rather than against what goes on in the real world. So I notice this with many critiques of the United States. It's holding America up against the standard of perfection, and America's always going to be flawed compared to a model of perfection. But there's no point comparing America to a standard of perfection. You want to compare America to other countries. Like, how does America's economy stand with regard to other countries? How does its military, its law enforcement, its institutions, its elite, how do all these things compare against what goes on in Japan or Nigeria or France? Yeah, the sky isn't falling.